Hello? Well, I guess we'll see if everyone yells. Hey, there we go. Someone's in the chat telling us that we got the sound. All right. Oh boy, that was a lot more of a gauntlet than it needed to be.
That was stressful.
Yeah, as I was saying before, I forgot like the really important things I was saying when we first started, but I also was saying that the normal way of going about this just decided it wasn't working, and so we had to go through an alternate way.
Thank you, Thomas.
Now we're here and ready to go. It is Sunday night, time for another session of our actual play like Clockwork, set in the world shared by Coddlesworth's Clockwork Circus, the graphic series that I am the writer of, and the world that I am building. And we're probably just going to kind of get into this a little bit more quickly than normal, but we are going to go around the horn real quick and say hi to everybody and see what's just been going on in everybody's world. So we're going to start with Sin.
Hello. Hi.
Yeah, hello.
I'm just me. This is my second last game of 14 in 10 days.
Awesome.
I am
Death
sleepy.
Week is almost over. Yes. Yeah, and then you really have to take a rest because you don't want to have another accident. So for anyone who doesn't know, they've been what 10 14 15 million games in 10 days, something like that.
14 games.
14 games in 10 days. So yep, there we go. All right, moving over to Sin's left. Our right is Alex in Chicago. What's up?
Oh gosh, busy weekend for me. I went back to a concert for the first time since like COVID pandemic started, and then I remembered why I don't go to concerts. Yeah, I hit quite a few people last night. Not even gonna lie about it. I didn't get thrown out though. It's all good.
Like hit or like hit?
I did elbows.
Oh.
I also did hands. There were hands. There were also hips involved. People were dumb and high and handsy, and I don't like those things.
Yeah.
Guess what? They left. I didn't.
They get hit. All right. Well, that sounds like a great time. Sounds like a great time, but with caveats.
I love Alex.
I get to hit somebody is a good day, so it's all good.
I love Alex. She's my don't fuck with me friend.
And up from Alex, we have John. What's going on?
Hello. Well, I didn't hit anyone with my hips, but my hips don't lie. So that's always a great thing. I'm more of a, if you want to go to Costco, I'll be your Costco buddy type of person. If you'd like to hear more of my beautiful voice is available currently in the Alternia archives here at Rem Alternus, which drops a new episode every Friday morning in the early dawn hours. And right now there's a campaign called Saints and Sinners, which is part of a Savage Worlds offshoot thing. It's about the future and a universe after a war. The whole universe is involved. And I play like a Suicide Squad-y type character. So it's really cool. If you haven't been listening, you can catch up and enjoy the Alternia archives, because that's a place where you're going to find out about games that aren't D&D or Shadowrun. So other tabletop stuff, like we have a Power Rangers game coming up. We do things like O Solaris, Era of Silence type of stuff. So yeah, you can learn about a whole bunch of cool new stuff. You can also learn about a whole bunch of cool new stuff if you join us here in the Discord, Rem Alternus, which is really cool because we're a great family of people. Personally, my podcast, Everything is Gay, but the Straight Stuff, is going great. And season 2 of Surf City Donuts, my podcast, that's a storytelling sci-fi horror thing. Season 2 will be coming up hopefully this week, but we'll see what happens. I'm also looking at MFA programs for applications for this upcoming next year. So it's an eventful time for me. And it's also Pride. Happy Pride, everybody. I know it's not really until June, but you know what? Happy Pride. It's been a long, stressful year. So Pride's coming early.
I'll take it. So yeah, well, that sounds great. Sounds like what do you have stuff planned for Pride? Yeah.
Yes, I'm going to be marching in a parade. There's a couple of parties, which are always fun. Um, yeah, Pride is one of those things where just whatever city you're in, hopefully your city is having Pride events that are inclusive and welcoming to all and don't necessarily require alcohol, because I know not all queer people imbibe alcohol, some are in recovery. And I hope that if you wish to seek out something for Pride, that you can find an event that fits your lifestyle and is full of consent and good times and brings you great joy and brings joy to the community. Because that's what it's all about. Don't feel like you have to have Pride brought to you by, a brand of alcohol, because that's not what Pride is. Pride, original Pride was a riot. So just, go back to your roots, stick it to the man. Do your misspent youth thing, because we just had that happen. Be youthful offender and love yourself, because the authority hates that.
We'll take all of that into consideration. And of course, from John, we're going to move on to Sarah, who is our lovely Rem Wrangler. What's going on, Sarah?
I'm still stressed out about tech. I'm like stuck now. I don't know. Stuff is happening. We finished the Misspent Youth Kickstarter. We're prepping for the next Kickstarter that we're facilitating for Star Anvil Studios. That doesn't have a nice quick link, so I can't tell you offhand what it is right now. But you can go to remalternus.com/kick, and that is the landing page for Coddlesworth's Clockwork Circus issue 2, coming to Kickstarter hopefully sooner rather than later. I told Danny we need at least 100 followers, and we're in the 90s for us to go live. But I would feel a lot safer if we could get toward 200 or more. So, because we want to launch this and we want it to be successful. So we're looking for $10,000 in order to make issue 2. So lots happening there. And meanwhile, if that wasn't enough, 2 weeks from now is I'm heading out to Origins Game Fair in Columbus. So Rem will be there. And so that's going to be a whole con experience and trying to get all the last minute stuff ordered and assembled. Yeah, so busy times. But it's good.
And maybe at Origins we can get that number up.
Yeah, we'll just talk to everyone and say, go do the thing.
Yes, bust out your phone.
or maybe everyone can do that except Danny.
Oh my god. Actually, you guys should totally have like a printout and like put it on like one of those things and like give them even like a QR code, which you guys might not be able to do, like to take them right in to do the thing. Like yes, that's perfect. That's so great advertising.
On our table, we're going to have a little thing that has Rem's logo and a QR code that leads to a link tree. And Coddlesworth will be one of the things on there. And I'm going to work on maybe ordering one that's Coddlesworth focused for the booth that we have there. We're going to be at 2 booths. We're going to be in the Artist Alley at 259, and we're going to be in the main convention area in 525. And then we're also going to be in the Gamma member spotlight tables running Winston, who is the GM on Saturday mornings. His new board game that's coming to Kickstarter later this year, Gilded Age, and then Fragging Unicorns, 2 games, Misspent Youth and Gangs of the Undercity, we're going to be facilitating too. It's going to be a busy week, guys.
Super exciting.
Yeah, it's good stuff.
Oh,
I want to play the game though, because like
I need to be exciting and
I need someone else's problems for a little bit. So like let's go to the game.
Yep.
You want problems, you say? I heard
So-
Panabon for some reason. That was kind of weird. I heard the word Panabon when you said
So Sarah's done talking about Rem, and she says it's about that time.
the person
That's the
Panabon
date?
looks up to the most that you have in total Panabon
Oh.
meeting.
We're
Hello,
live.
we are live.
Well, they're trying to tell me that I'm on a date with an older gnome, or going on a date.
Perhaps. So, speaking of that, when we had our session last week, Panabon and Lex went to the Scholar Rososi, the late Scholar Rososi's abode, to see if they could find any more information. They did find scary creatures that wanted to murder them, and they instead inflicted murder upon the creature and then got out of there. Meanwhile, Perunia and Shaylun went to the travel district, travel area where most of the airships are docked, there to sort of give the appearance that they were looking for airship travel across the continents to get to Ireland. But really, they were going to purchase train tickets. They did speak to somebody that could give them some information about the train and learned that there was a train leaving in a few days. And while they were there, an interesting gnome gentleman got their attention and apparently had heard a little bit about them. And so, after speaking a bit, they agreed that perhaps the following day they would share a meal and talk about things. Then later, I believe Perunia, maybe Shaylun, somebody sent a runner to go actually purchase the train tickets. So that was happening, and then they retired for the evening. So we find
And we got seats in like middle class. We're not doing the like I'm not doing a train ride in like lower class. Like I want at least like a seat that I can like recline a little bit.
Perunia gave no such note. But sure.
I gave you extra money. What did you do with it? Did you just pocket the extra coin I gave you?
Maybe.
in any case, tickets for the train will be purchased. And we find our group the next day kind of going about their general business. When sometime mid-morning, a courier arrives with an invitation for Shaylun. This is brought to her by one of the orcs of the lodge, and it is sealed with a wax drop on a envelope with a sigil that you don't recognize immediately. But your name is on it, Shaylun.
My name?
Well, your name, Lampira.
That's more comforting. So I will open it. someone was like, I know who and where you are, I'd be like, I'm out. We're running right now.
The card within is a little bit ostentatiously presented. You don't feel like the fellow you met yesterday wrote this himself, but it says to Lampira, your presence is humbly requested for dinner at Asia Yux Ossia is what it says in there. Those who speak Ashani will be able to translate in that into bone and spice. Along with any guests for a meal courtesy of Professor Nugatsa Sanato.
I am confused by it because like I thought like verbal was enough. This is like oddly formal.
It's a date.
They literally said bring your friends. It's like
Do that
opposite.
the first date sometimes. Like, you know, you don't want to intimidate the other person. Just saying.
You've been staring at that note for like a long time, Shaylun. What's happening? Are we? What does it say?
I'm just we're invited to a dinner thing. Do I know what bones and spice is?
No.
At a place called Bone and Spice. The professor I met yesterday, Perunia, invited all of us on a weirdly formal invitation.
You met
He
a
was a weird
professor
guy.
yesterday?
Yeah, what?
Yeah,
Actually, wasn't it?
About power cubes. Yeah, it was yesterday.
Was it yesterday? Okay. I'm losing track of time.
What is it like one of the scholar people from the library?
No, it was someone that worked with Rizosi, unknowingly to his devices.
The guy,
he said unknowingly.
the guy with the wasps that we just fought.
What?
Yeah, that guy. Uh-huh.
Oh,
Yeah, we're so
yeah,
the guy with the
were-
wasp. That's
Yeah,
There was
yeah.
the giant demon wasp.
Oh.
But he said that he didn't know about that stuff, just that like he supplied the power that Sorcery was using. So like, yeah.
Yeah, he's
completely above board.
He
Legit.
seems to be a bit of an artificer. Like he that battery, that magic battery that we saw at the house, and then also at the pump at the head of the river. Both of those were designed by this guy.
Oh, did this guy have a name?
Yes, but I left my spell book just out of reach.
It was Professor Sanatu. Bruni's great at names.
Look at her kind of surprised. And especially when she talks in third person and goes, Perunia is great at names.
Did do that, yes. She did.
I mean, it's not a very... Couldn't be... No. They wouldn't be here. Right? That's not...
Who?
No idea what you're saying.
Sanato. It's not Sanatu Nagatsu, is it?
Well, it kind of sounds like that.
Hello?
I don't know. I might not be pronouncing it exactly correctly, but yeah, it kind of sounded like that.
Let me run back to the room and get my spell book.
You can leave the camera on. It's okay if you don't have pants.
No! Twitch isn't ready for that.
I was waiting for her to forget to turn the camera off.
No.
Yeah.
Love you guys.
So we trust the man who worked with the man that made the
we
wasp.
do not. We super do not, Lex. No.
Okay, because I was gonna say you guys searched me, and I know your brother.
Lex, you're great. I don't even trust you yet.
That's what I was gonna say though. If you don't trust me, but you're gonna trust a man who worked with the man that made wasps.
To be fair, I'm not trustworthy at all. Like, I think most people are under the working assumption I'm going to stab them at some point, which is my love language, so it is a possibility.
Yeah, but see, this guy's clever and magical, which means Shay likes him.
Your camera's still off. If you're
Yeah, I'm getting there. I just sat back down. Hi, everyone.
Shay, so you don't care if people are sketchy if they're smart?
Oh, damn!
I don't. What did I miss of the conversation?
Nothing. Lex just calling you out hard.
That's how I got a fireball in my fanny. I'd be very careful about how you tread there, Lex.
Nugatsa Nazarez was his, or no, Nazarez is the battery name. Nugatsa. Yeah. That's all I wrote down, because at the time that was all I thought was important.
Last name was Sanatu.
Sanatu?
What?
Do you know him?
Yeah. You see Panabon scurry to their bag, and they just start, like, things start flying out of the bag, and Panabon pulls out their chapter membership pamphlet from the Nagatu Sanatu fan club, like chapter 3 president, and I'm like, is this the no? Are we meeting? Is it a no they're meeting? Like, is this them?
Where did you get this?
I'm a chapter president for their fan club. Did you really just meet my personal hero? And, like, you don't even know who you have no idea who you were talking to?
I'm starting to lose track. I've been in the desert sun too long. Are they fucking with me?
I don't think they are, no.
Wait, so it's a celebrity? You're going on a celebrity date?
A what?
Oh, but he. Okay. So
how come I've never heard? We've been traveling for 6 months together, Panabon. How come I've never heard this name?
What? You mean you haven't heard this, Sheila? I've heard him talk about it like they never stopped talking about this guy. Even I know that Panabon's talked about this guy before.
Maybe I've just gotten really good at tuning out Panabon when they talk about things I don't understand.
Literal, actual, could be the god of the gnomes genius. Like this guy right here.
God of the gnomes. There is no god of the gnomes, Panabon.
I know that. Don't you think I know that? But this is about as close as we're ever gonna get.
Well, he's here and he invited us to dinner.
Okay. What do I have to wear? Is that what you're gonna wear? Tell me that's not what you're gonna wear to dinner. You can't meet him looking like that.
I just got these clothes.
But they're
I don't see the problem.
It's like okay, all right, okay. So, how do we know? Does anyone know any tailors? Like tailors that live nearby?
Anyone? A marketplace?
It's not. Oh God. Okay. All right. So, how does everyone feel about like some makeup? We're gonna make ourselves like real pretty.
I look at Pruny and I'm like, they're normally at a 10. This is like 15. I don't know what to do with this.
This is all I own and all I want to own.
Yeah, and Lex, I think now you and I are the only ones who are back to not trusting this guy, because these two are gone.
I mean, it's not. It's just.
Yeah.
Seriously?
Okay.
Are you gonna be okay, Panabon? Because, like, if you're gonna embarrass us, like, you can't come.
No, but there's like, so, let's see. And Panabon turns over the paper and it's like, okay, so I'm gonna ask this question, and Panabon's like just start writing down questions to ask, and it's like, so, like, how long do you think we're gonna be at dinner? Like, because I could probably do about 30.
Panabon, I'm gonna tell you something, and I need you to like not freak out while I say this, okay? He's gonna be on the train with us. You're gonna have like 2 weeks to ask him whatever you want. So let's not try to ask him every single question at dinner. Okay. Oh, also, he doesn't know we're going to be on the train with him. Yay.
Okay, so here's the thing. You've met me, right? Like, I'm a lot, and I have a window of opportunity before he realizes I'm a lot. So, like, I have to get in before I'm too much. But
But
like, it's
No,
a whole
no, wrong
thing
way to
about
think
not
about that.
wanting to. Like,
No, no, no.
there's a
Opposite is
window.
true. No,
There's a
no, 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 no,
window
no, no, no,
of
no.
time.
You can extend your window by being nice and polite in the beginning, and then they like you and trust you, and then they give you a longer window. You should try it.
I wonder if he likes card tricks.
Danny, I get up
He
and go
hasn't
ask one of
actually
the.
said in an interview.
I go
But,
ask
like,
one of the orcs where bone and spices and what it is.
Okay. You find one of the orcs and wave them down, and they come over. Yes. As you ask about what bone and spices, they just kind of sit back. Um, and he looks kind of around and calls someone else over. They talk about it. They convene, and then the one that he calls over looks is a restaurant near near Palace.
Restaurant near the palace.
Yeah, I think. It's
Right.
not a place we would go.
Would you like to? Do you want to come with us? They said I could invite my friends.
No.
All right. I just you sounded like not a place you would go, but like I didn't know if that was out of sadness or preference. So it's clear now. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. And they return to what they were doing.
All right. Well, oh, Danny, last time too, I was rifling through my bag, and were any of the stones the color of that magic?
No.
Oh,
Not.
okay.
They're just gemstones.
Well,
Not that they're gemstones, but
yeah, you look at riches and go, ah, shit.
yeah.
All right. Well, I don't know. I call dibs on not being Penabon's babysitter today, so
Goes.
What?
Sorry, Lex.
Why do I need a babysitter? What are you babysitting me for? You notice that Panabon has like thread and some of their costume stuff out, and like there's like they are literally like making themselves a very nice suit out of their costume work that they have.
Lex, you'll be fine. They're just doing costumes anyway. You'll be fine. You've got this.
So am I distracting him the whole dinner, or?
Oh no, that's not going to be possible. Don't put that on yourself.
Okay.
Just make sure that they get to the dinner and don't have a panic attack.
What if they cause me a panic attack? Because they've kind of been doing that all yesterday.
welcome to the group.
We should probably talk about that and how we use our different coping mechanisms around pain. It's different for every person.
I'm a lot. It's true.
No. You're fine. I would never say
No,
that you're a lot.
It's okay.
They know.
I'm a lot,
They're
yeah.
aware. Yeah, it's okay.
They've been working on it.
Joie de vivre.
So how can I best support you, Panabon?
You can hold this bobbin and thread while I put in this applique silver brooch into Don't shake your head at me.
No, I'm
Just
walking
because
out of the
you don't
room.
wanna
I'm
dress
so
up
sorry.
nice-
I'm so sorry.
Just because you don't want to dress up nice doesn't mean I can't dress up nice.
Perunia leaves the room quickly.
You're meeting.
I'll
You
follow.
don't understand who you're meeting. Oh,
Would it make you feel better if I wore something similar?
do you have enough material to make something?
Maybe?
Actually, no. I don't want you to outshine me. So you're fine. You're fine how you are. You're
Wow.
lovely.
Wow.
Wait, do you want me to take off the gold on my horns then? To remove all the shine?
No, no. I mean, that would be mean. You're fine. It's not your fault that people don't understand that we're meeting the smartest person in the universe. So it's not it's fine. It's gonna be it'll be great. Everything's going.
Did-
Nothing bad is going to happen because in the history of the world that we now currently live in, bad things have happened, but nothing bad is going to happen. And if the universe makes anything bad happen, I'm going to have a very bad moment with the universe. The universe needs to,
Perunia.
like,
Yes.
watch out.
Saloon.
As
Do you-
Cannabon is just like
have-
shredding things right now.
Have you reached out to Tieske?
No,
About-
I haven't yet.
Should
And we should.
yeah, why don't we do that so that we're not that.
Because they don't even know what his birthday is.
We head towards the exit, Danny.
Am I supposed to? No?
I mean, oh.
Faster,
You
faster,
could join
faster.
the Natsu fan club. You could join the fan club. You should join the fan club before. I mean, are you emotionally prepared to be in the Nagatsu Sanato fan club?
I
Thursday?
don't put that much stock in being smart, but sure. And I give like the most awkward thumbs up I can.
As
You're
the
gonna love
awkward thumbs up is delivered, Shaylun and Perunia exit the building. The as it were, the large, extra large pavilion that is the Bujuk Lodge. And where are you headed? It's still a bit early. The time on the invitation was for later in the evening.
So the last place that Tiske was the safe house that I and Nakai and we had gone to at that point after we had escaped from the Dark Claws. So I
Mhm.
think that I would probably start with that safe house.
Okay. Yeah, so you head to the location where Tieske was staying, and the area is relatively quiet. It's not completely devoid of people traveling about, especially at this time of day. But it's definitely not a highly rambunctious area or part of Gilaludi, and it's near the top levels of the city. Plenty of sun coming down, but that also means that uh, a lot of businesses are set up a little bit lower within the city. So you arrive at the safe house and give a knock,
I do.
imagining that there's some special knock sequence that you have worked out with Tieske. Um, After a few moments, you see a curtain in one of the windows kind of draw aside slightly, and then it closes, and the door opens partially, enough for you to be ushered inside without opening the door entirely, as Tieske welcomes both you and Shaylun into the building.
Hi, friend.
Yes.
Hello.
How is everything? He peers out the curtains and then lets it close and turns back to you.
I don't think we were followed. Um, the zigzag men, as they were, have been a lot less active than before. Also, partly perhaps because they're intending to intercept us on our airship journey, uh, which is supposed to be taking place. Um, which is why we're here. Well, one of the two reasons why we're here. Well, one is to wish you farewell, and to say goodbye to Naka if she's around. And the second one, well, I actually have some questions for you.
All right. Naka is out at the moment. She's preparing for a journey of some sort down south along the coastline, I believe. Um, and as far as I can tell, the Inquisition has all but scattered from Gilaludi. The embassy is practically empty. It's an odd sense to not have any Inquisitor in the city, though I do, though I still, it's a lot to wrap my head around. In any case, um, questions.
Yeah. Well, I mean, a couple and a couple different topics, but the first one is I ran into someone pretty interesting, and I was wondering if you were aware of any Locks. Oh, sorry, Lex. Weird, similar name. Lex, who was a Dark Claw, though he might not have. Well, I guess you might not have known him as a Dark Claw. Copper Dragonborn.
I mean, I
Bronze, thank you.
Bronze.
the
I said the right one. I knew which one he was.
Such a racist.
the
I just to help identify Lex.
the Inquisition's a large organization.
Here in Gilaludi.
Well, I must say I didn't know many of them here. They they were all brought in specifically for this task and against the actual precepts of the Inquisition itself. So, I would say if they were one of the Inquisition members that were here under Gansei's lead, then I doubt that I would know them.
Hmm. Okay, different line of questioning. Maybe you can help me in this way. The group of rebels that are active in Pelican. Do you know a lot about their organization?
I I would say that I know a fair bit. You're you're speaking of the Averos Koru.
I think that's what they go by.
Well, at least that's what we refer to them as in the
Ah,
Inquisition. I believe they have a name for themselves, Kektimoplo Dotsin Pozor Coalition in the trade, he says to Shaylun. Cultural unity. A a name I would have that I found laughable previously, but now, given recent events, I don't know what to think.
I hmm, I haven't been to Pelican now for a while. I know that you've been out traveling as well, but do you know what it was said that they were trying to accomplish within Pelican, like recently?
Coalition or the
Coalition, yeah.
um well, the coalition, as you know, um, is it feels very strongly that the church's control of Palakun is problematic. That the specter of Skultior is used as an excuse to bring down enemies of the state and the church rather than a true inquisition to ferret out heretics.
I mean, a lot of Dragonborn feel that way, and a lot of them aren't part of a political group trying to accomplish something. So I guess what is their political goal? Speaking as more of like, an active group. But a lot of, especially non-metallic, chromatic and Dragonborn, a lot of us feel that way.
They they believe that when the church defeated the chromatic dragonborn priests of Skultior and the warriors of Skultior had surrendered, that um, there were provisions for that surrender, uh, and that those provisions have been taken advantage of in ways that can be resolved today. See, property that was taken. So returning that property and installing at least a voice on the council that is not directly related to the church.
Hmm, that's actually less dramatic than I had hoped for. I mean, that sounds great.
Well, they didn't necessarily have a manifesto or they're not an organization that is able to operate openly and freely. So it's hard to say what exactly their goals were or how they intend to go about them.
Hmm, okay.
Even amongst the Inquisition, Haverbos Koru or um, Kektimoplo, they we don't know much about them because we never cared to learn about them. Heretics of Skultior. What more do we need to know?
Yeah, I'm sure the Inquisition definitely thinks that. Anyway, that's it. That's well, one set of questions. My other question for you is, are you going back to Palacune? Number one. And then number two, are you actually going to stay in the Inquisition? Sorry, those are really personal questions. You don't have to tell me.
I think that I have a lot of questions about the church and about the Inquisition. That much I know. Is this just a is this a rogue arm, or is this something that is integral to the entirety of the church? It's hard to
It's the
say.
second one. You can be an outcast with us.
You could, or I look at Jalen, look back at Tiske. You could stay in a while and, maybe collect information because, well, you're already very well positioned to find out some pretty important stuff.
Perhaps I do intend to return to Palacune, and I do intend to return to the headquarters of the Inquisition um, to attempt to gain an audience with the Conagepro, uh, which you understand to be like a bishop that is in charge of the Inquisition. Perhaps there will be answers, perhaps not.
Tiske, a word of caution. Um, if you do intend to go about your investigation, I would keep your investigation and your questions quiet from the head of the church, your your colleagues, your commanders. I would make your investigation as quiet as possible because you don't want to make yourself a target, whether it's just a small break off sect or a larger one, you might serve yourself better by investigating quietly first.
Likely. There's definitely a lot to figure
Don't
out.
get arrested or killed.
Because I will not be here to break you out next time, since we are in fact leaving, as I said when I got here.
Well, agreed. I will not make the same mistake. I don't know who I can trust within the Inquisition, and so you're absolutely correct.
Well,
And
since you are going to Pelicune and you're not sure who you can trust, I have one person you might want to look up. I write down a name. It has my brother's name on it and my parents' address. If you're in the city, this is my brother. If you could tell him that I'm alive, that would be great. I mean, you already know my real name by now, but Prunia Sesnikova. Um, and he's a really trustworthy stand-up guy. If you need somebody, he would be a good one to turn to.
he takes the paper and looks at it for a few moments, folds it in half, and slips it inside his vest pocket. Thank you. I might make that a first stop, as a matter of fact. This has all been a very strange ordeal. And it's plain to see that the world is changing in ways beyond simply the return of arcana. It's that a lot of Dragonborn will be asking about the church, especially given what I know about your friend Aegis. Um, the way he handles magic is not the same as the priesthood.
Yeah, I noticed too. I
And
mean, I thought, frankly, not to be disparaging, but I thought that no gods existed in this world until I met Aegis. And I don't know what to believe now either.
the fact that the priesthood does not, the way they engage with magic is the same as Shaylun, which is not to say that it is not valid, but it is not calling upon God, which means that it's not power coming from Melchun.
I gave up on Mel from a long time ago. Anyway, not to dwell on depressing topics,
Your
but
friend Aegis made quite an impression on Naka. She intends to take knowledge of this Nipue along the coast.
wow, good for Aegis. Good for Naka. They left on an airship already, Aegis and Laxted. They said to tell you goodbye.
If they're traveling to a different place than you,
There was a family situation that Lox needed to deal with, and Aegis, of course, being the man that he is, volunteered to help him. But our path was taking us in another direction.
and where are you headed next?
Not that I don't trust you, because I do, but if you are captured, I don't want them to torture you to find out. So I don't think that I'll say in this time, but I think that I'll know how to contact you. Um, especially if you look up my brother and I'm able to contact him. So we can stay in communication that way.
Well, wherever your travels take you, do be cautious. Take care of yourselves. Keep your eyes open. There are a lot of moving pieces to this. I think this is more than Blumgesu, more than the acts of renegade inquisitors.
Same, friend. Same. And with that, I give to Skay a handshake that turns into one of those big brotherly hugs with lots of pats, because that's how guys do it. And Pruny knows that to make him more comfortable. And because not to give Shaylin the wrong idea of their friendship, and they're intense about that and stuff.
Shay is oblivious. Sarah is putting everything together.
Yeah, so he definitely returns the hug warmly and nods. Be safe. I anticipate being out of the city within, well, by the week's end. So,
Do you know where the bone and spice is?
it's spice.
It's apparently a fancy restaurant.
I think I've heard someone mention that in a in one of the local taverns, but in a somewhat derisive tone. It struck me as someone putting something down because they could not have access.
You want to come to a fancy dinner at Bone and Spice with us?
Shrug.
Do you think such a thing wise?
I mean, why wouldn't it be?
I
Got over this, Shaylin.
We
Well,
defeated
what-
the bad guys here.
Yeah.
what time?
I tell him the time on the invitation.
It's around like a 7 o'clock equivalent. I think I would be delighted then, and then I would be able to see. You mentioned Lox and Aegis left, so Panabon then is still here.
Yes, just Panabon might be a little distracted. A lot distracted, more than usual. And then you'll also get to meet Lex, as Perunia mentioned.
I see. Very well. Yes, I will. I think that would be a great way to take our minds off of all this for even.
Do you think Noko would Noko want to come?
I'll see if she's back in time.
Excellent. I hope so, because I want to say bye to her and thank her for the compass that points to magic.
Oh. Interesting. Well, very good then. I'll see you tonight. He heads to the door and pokes his head out a little bit and then opens it, allowing you to exit.
Bye.
Bye. We'll see you this evening. Panabon and Lex, I imagine, Panabon, that you have set up an entire...
Real quick, as we leave, can I say to Prunia, I wonder where Flint is?
Just getting everybody in the city tonight, huh? I think you're stretching this and guess things a little far, don't you think?
I mean, I just...
Also, if this guy is like, you're inviting him, but he might be at risk now. If this guy really did work at Fort Sosi, then he's on us. So.
I don't think I think he's truthful. I think he didn't know what he was
Sure,
getting into.
sure. You know, to take his risk to choose to come
I
to
just
talk.
want to say goodbye to all of our friends
I,
we've made.
I know, Shaylin. It's a very sweet thought. I appreciate that.
All right. Um, so Panabon and Lex, is there anything that y'all were up to?
I think while Panabon was distracted, I took a moment to just take a deep breath and focus on myself and make my scales and my skin more bronze and more metallic and shiny looking.
A little bit of
You can do that?
pruning there.
Which
I
is
have
a
so
real
many
feat.
questions.
Which is a real feat because Pandabon is talking at you at about 4 miles a minute, filling you in on the life that they think they know of this like celebrity artificer gnome character. Um, and it's a lot. Pandabon knows a lot about them, or thinks they do. They know the manicured profile of the gnome that has done all these great things. So whether or not the real one is exactly like that or not remains to be seen. But um, yeah, and Panabon is making themselves like the nicest kind of because they have enough material to make a few masks out of it. So there's like a essentially it's like a black velvet suit with purple pinstripes on the side and silver brooch featuring nightingale flower on it with just like a little dagger accoutrement. Um, and so it's actually it's almost a little probably too much for where they are currently, but perfect for the fancy restaurants that they'll be attending later.
And then is Panabon heading out for anything? I mean, there's still time before dinner, or you can just continue getting ready for that dinner.
I think Panabon. How close is the market? It's not too far, right?
No, it's not too far.
Yeah. Panabon is jauntily going to head out at a certain point for fabrics so that they can at least make like a fancy like dress tie or a bow tie for like Shaylun and Perunius. They can have at least like one fancy thing for their dinner outfits. Um, yeah.
All right, sounds good. So making sure that everybody is going to look their best.
Yes. Also, being on the lookout for veiled dancers and zigzag men, because there's no time when there is no threat. So Panabon does not believe that the threats have left the city just because the scholar has passed away.
Okay. Traveling through the market and making these purchases, you do notice that there are people that take note of your passage through the city, um, but most of them don't try to avoid your gaze. And when they do catch your eye, they just kind of give a little bit of a nod. Of
I wink at them.
course, you do. Yeah, so you managed to get all of that, head back to the lodge, and get some simple but elegant items created. Let's roll some dice this game.
Woohoo!
Um,
Also, it's color theory, so whatever it is to your skin tone is going to be complementary. So just beware, color theory is fully in play here.
all right, give me a charisma check. Just a straight up charisma check.
Straight up charisma check. Charisma. Oh, there it is. Way down there. Not as good as I wanted it to be. That's okay. I'm distracted.
Okay. You do set up, but you get some of the colors mixed up. It's definitely going to be a little odd for those who truly know. But the evening does arrive. Shayloon and Perunia eventually arrive back at the lodge. There are tickets waiting for you at the lodge for the train that leaves the following day.
I even made a little collar for Minya to wear, like a little fancy Minya sized collar.
That's really cute.
I know.
And as the time nears, all of you gather together. I presume all 4 of you are going.
I'm excited.
Unless something disrupts travel, yes.
Okay. Well,
Brunia doesn't have nice clothes, so she's just in her leathers.
I'm in my
have, like, a-
cloth cotton monk robes, so just
Traveling clothes.
shinier.
So Perunia has like a choice of like a bow tie, like a Windsor knot tie, or like cufflinks or something. Like just something to add to the.
To be fair, I like vests and Windsor ties, so I will take the tie.
Fabulous.
all right. So with that, all of you head out of the lodge wearing your best or something approaching best, and make your way to Bone and Spice. We will see what happens at the restaurant after our 10-minute break. Let
Ooh.
everybody get a drink and
Get
reset
my bow tie
themselves.
on.
Yep, get your bow tie on. See y'all in 10 minutes.
Okay. Thank you.
Welcome back. When we took off our break, everyone was headed out to a restaurant called Bone and Spice. The walk to the palace district of Gilaluti is pleasant. At this part of the evening, in the time of
No assassins trying to murder me because they think I'm Zivid anymore. None of that.
you don't see any assassins, or maybe everyone's an assassin and they're just biding their time. The palace ward, you you get a sense when you are moving away from working class areas of the city towards the palace ward, and there's just subtle changes in like the quality of fabrics that people are wearing, and a less subtle change in the pace of people, how quickly they move about through the streets. And you eventually arrive at the restaurant, which you smell before you see it. A blend of spices that just kind of drift in the air. Clove and cinnamon, cumin. There's also the smell of meat, cooking meat, mixed into all of that. It's almost overpowering for those who aren't used to spices. But there is something pleasant about it. Just this mix of like, cardamom um, and nutmeg, and just it's this very specific blend.
I'm
Arriving.
gonna whisper over to Perunia. I can't wait to tell Aegis that we ate at the fanciest restaurant in the city and he didn't get to come. It gives me a giggle inside.
Runia laughs out loud and tries to cover it up quickly.
Arriving at the restaurant itself, there are several people just there around and within. There is a host at the front that is greeting people before someone comes in and grabs them and leads them in. Or in very rare cases, they are made to wait maybe a few minutes before someone comes in. But generally, someone is grabbing folks and taking them in immediately. A few people you see are turned away after the host consults a ledger. The dress here is, again, one of the main differences between just dressing casually and dressing more formally has a lot to do with fabric choice rather than necessarily style of clothing, and color choices as well. You approach the host, and he just kind of looks over this motley group of gnomes and dragonborn.
Wow.
He starts off in Ashani, asking if he can assist.
I have an invitation for Lampira. Lampira Flaglight.
Very
As
smooth.
you yell your name at him, he
Don't
just
stop that to speak down.
he turns and he consults a ledger. Ah, yes, very good. And he calls someone forward, and someone does come and retrieve you. Yeah, yes, come with me, please. And he leads you inside. The restaurant itself is a very wide open space. There are no chairs. There are mostly uh, thick cushions kind of set around low tables throughout for seating. The tables that you pass, you see are laid out with a variety of food. There is generally in the center of each table is a large pot, which contains in general some sort of a stew, and then around it are a variety of vegetables and grains, several herbs and other additives for people to put individually into their stew. The stew seems to be sort of a base, and then everyone can kind of uh, build it to taste. And he takes you through past most of this common area into a back area that is a singular room with a long table, again, set in the same style. There are no chairs, but this is a little more private than the common area rooms. Sitting at one end, not quite the head of the table, you see Nugatsa Sanato. You also see Naka and Tieske are there already. They are engaged in some polite conversation. And there are two other individuals in the room dining as well. One is a human female, and the other is a gnomish male. And they're sitting on either side of Nugatsa.
Hi.
Would I know who they are? Do they travel with Nugatsu's retinue?
Yes, but you don't necessarily know who they are. Um, just that I who Nugatsa travels with at any given time changes, and it's been a minute since you've gotten any updates, shall we say, on Nugatsa's particular situation, right?
There's a
So
reason I'm the third chapter fan club president. Politics are awful.
yes. So in any case,
Hello.
uh um hello, welcome. Please come in and take a seat. Um, I I've met your friends Yesuke and Naka, lovely individuals, and I see you've brought uh, others. Um, he kind of leans over and says something to the gnomish male that's kind of sitting next to him, and that individual gets up and moves around the table to the other side of Naka, um, and Nugatsa indicates for Shailene to take that seat.
All right. It's very fancy.
I'm gonna I'm gonna lead into Perunia.
Take the feet.
So it is a date.
Dave.
He's like 54. I'm
So?
18.
Don't be
I don't
ageist.
judge.
Don't be ageist. I start sullenly looking at the stew and saying, I could do better. So yeah, I'll sit down next to him and then go. This is Avril. Like asking, is that the name we're going?
Yes, please.
Avril and
Fred.
Fred.
and this is
Rogelio.
what was it?
Rogelio.
Rogelio. I missed when that became a thing. So Rogelio is a big fan of yours, apparently. I didn't know that you were someone that eats at places like this.
Well, I did figure that if I am leaving from Gialuti, I would like to try. There are many that talk about the bone and spice. Apparently, they the stew is what it's all about. They they create a broth, hence the bone, and the proprietary mixture that they use to create that broth becomes the spice, bone and spice. It is a name that makes sense, and I can appreciate a good name that makes sense.
As he's explaining this, I take a quick look around before I look down at Prunia and Panabon and wonder if this is what I sound like to them over explaining things all the time.
You nod silently.
Yeah. So
Panabon is just, by the way, Panabon is just like making a noise. You remember like when TVs used to do those test patterns? Like it's not loud yet, but like if you're sitting next to Panabon, you're just hearing like this low emitted like noise that you can't tell if it's distress or joy. It's just like a low emitted like noise.
I elbow them to like.
It doesn't work.
With me are my companions that are traveling with me. You saw Braun at the air docks. Braun is the gnome male. And then this is Callus. Callus is a rather intelligent young lady, currently apprenticed to myself, learning about the art of, I suppose, such a new thing. I don't know that we've named it yet. We should name it. Of uh, using and powering technology with arcane uh, from arcane sources, huh?
Yeah.
In any case,
Thanks again for being willing to talk, because I've been dabbling with similar things. I was raised by tinkerers, and as many of us are, and then when magic became a thing, I of course was very excited for that. But what about combining the two and having something that you could trigger at a later time to be to your benefit or detriment? I've actually been using beads lately to kind of hold spells and give them to some of my magical friends, so that if they have a need, they can break the bead, cast the spell, and get whatever outcome they need.
I see.
Yes, it's great. Magic is great. It's wonderful. Great. Good. Yeah.
Sorry, I didn't pick up a lot of that. There was something kind of going on in my headset there.
Oh, so I just over-explained how I was using beads to do similar things to hold spells.
Okay. Well, indeed. That's. I'd love to see exactly what your method for doing that is. How that works. In our case, there's definitely a lot more engineering involved. Um, Actually creating the working artifice, if you will, and then finding a means to power it through the arcane, and that's where the Nazores comes in. Um, Prior to that, there were batteries that you could expend magical energy into and get it to work, but that could be very limited. The Nazores grants power for a much longer period of time.
That's fascinating. And you said that it's only available in Elam, which will sadly limit my ability to experiment until we get a chance to get there on an airship in a few days' time.
Yeah. Indeed. Well, the it is located in Elam. There are those who are, for lack of a better word, harvesting it out of Elam and bringing it back um, in moderate amounts.
Is there not native people who live there?
Yeah, indeed. There's an entire civilization well versed in the magical arts, um, and it's
Have you been?
I personally no, I've not been. Uh, it is something that I would like to do when I have the time, but there is a lot of work to be done, and if I am I am best doing the work here. Well, perhaps not here anymore, but rather than traipsing through new lands that I honestly have not the talent for navigating.
What percentage of those people harvesting the stuff would you say? I don't know if you have a number, but like, is it like 50-50 good versus evil, like 60-40? Anybody trying to do what the scholar did, but like with the batteries? Like any knowledge of that potentially? A thing?
You'll have to excuse them. Our encounter with Rososi left them a little, maybe distrustful of these batteries and
I
the
almost
power.
died. Almost
Well,
died.
hey, we all
Not great.
did. We all did.
Well, Rogelio, you. Yes.
Uh, I was just gonna add on to that and ask about shadow fae creatures or magic bugs, because I don't like those.
It was only one magic bug. It wasn't like it was a stone gargoyle come to life. It was just one magic bug.
I just feel like we shouldn't
Die.
mess. I feel like we
Also
shouldn't
died.
mess with things from the shadow fae. Is all.
They found a giant spirity wasp thing that tried to kill them at Rizosi's. They believe it's from the Shadow Fae.
That sounds absolutely terrifying.
Yes.
Oh yes, no.
Well, I can't say I've experienced anything like that, but I will say, Rogelio, that magic is a science like any other. And that, like any other science, the tools created from it can be used for the betterment of all, or it can be perverted for darker purposes. I am quite sorry for your experiences, especially if I had anything to do with them, given my work with Scholar Rizosi on these projects. But there are applications for these that will, well, just
They could change the world.
indeed, it absolutely could change the world. I think about a time before engines, a time before the wheel. Even it's hard to imagine. And now we are on the cusp of another such realm era of discovery, of creation of science, and it is exciting. But it is wise to be cautious. And again, I am learning, again, reminded that not all have the best interests of others at heart. Hmm?
Very
Are you
true. What?
are you a magic user too, Professor?
Of a sort. I am not. I am not. Uh, Many of the arcane professors at the universities are spell casters. Yes, they are able to through formulaic means weave together an effect. I am more an inventor of sorts. I am able to create devices and tools that will uh, that are powered through the arcane. And
So, do you focus on the use of magic as a battery itself rather than the outcome of the device? So, it could still be similar to a steam powered device, but powered by this magical battery versus a trigger allows magic to release from this device. Is that more your focus? Oh, both.
the battery is more in order to pass these inventions on to others. Indeed. So, what good is an engine that those without magical abilities themselves cannot use? The engine is no good to them. However, with Nizores, they can power the engines themselves. They can make use of the tools. Of course, it's easier if I have the power source as well. But if I, in a pinch, if I need to make to power device myself. I have the means to do so, um, and, and channel that energy. It is something that I'm sure you understand as a scholarly arcanist yourself.
Yeah, I've been able to dabble a little, but my focus has really been more of the arcane because growing up with tinkering, it's something new to explore and define and invent, and that's been part of the fun of discovering new effects you can do, new spells you can take on, what other people have discovered and are able to do with it. Um, really, just this whole unseen world that has been untapped for so long.
Yes, yes, it is all rather exciting. The He pauses for a moment and kind of looks around the table a little bit meaningfully at all of you. So I I am troubled by what it was that the scholar Zosi was up to. By my understanding, he had intended to call forth some ancient power and then channel this power through himself. And were it not for you and your companions, I presume, he would have succeeded. I am curious. How did you come to learn of the Scholar Associate's plans?
I look at Shaylin like, don't tell him.
Shayloon's lips actually go into a thin line, knowing that she doesn't know what to say, if she should truth or lie, and lying doesn't go well. So she's kind of waiting for one of them to step in and help.
We were almost murdered. It was a murder most foul.
Yes. Yeah, it was pure luck that we stumbled upon it. I mean, if we hadn't been in the right place at the right time, overheard a conversation, the leader here, the Dark Claws, they really should have kept better security. Honestly, like, yeah, Junise was really quite loose with his security. I'm going to be honest.
Yeah, we were all there and all stumbled by accident.
Let's get from Perunia
Yes.
with advantage a
Thank
deception
you for
check.
help. Oh, okay.
Also, I like this guy and don't want to lie to him.
Do I have any benefits that I
You
can
have
use?
you have advantage, so
Okay,
that
yeah.
did not roll with it, so just roll it again.
Let's just try that again. Do I hit the advantage button? No, I'll just do one more,
No,
right?
just roll it again.
Come on. Oh, much
There
better.
it is.
I see. Well, that I suppose we should be thankful for such miracles.
You just have to know what to listen for. That's the real trick.
Miracles are the
Yes.
word I would use.
Well, it seems to me that more and more, and of course, I mean, it stands to reason that this would be occurring with the changes that have happened. But more and more, there are foul things afoot. Hoping that you might have some insight on such things. Perhaps
What,
better understand.
what
Like-
kind of foul things do you mean?
Well, obviously, Rososi must have had friends within Palakim, which is my home ultimately, where I was born and raised, and that leaves me feeling rather upset and frustrated. Um, the church has always been, pardon me, he says to the Dragonborn, uh, a bit overzealous in the application and their approach to seeing the world. But uh, for the most part, they kept to themselves. They did not forestall innovation, so long as one did not call out to this dark dragonborn goddess of theirs. Then, at least amongst non-dragonborn, you expected to be left alone. But the Scholar Associ, his allies were amongst the Inquisition, and that is troubling. That is troubling. It makes me wonder just how deep that goes, and and if it even goes beyond Palacune, who else might be involved? Because this, if you had asked me a year ago about something like this, I'd have laughed at you. I'd have said that such a thing is not possible. But knowing what we worked on and seeing the aftermath, I did go and visit and see the Rotoro allowed me to. This was very much a near miss of grand calamity.
When he's talking about the Dragonborn and stuff, I'm like eyes wide looking at all three, or well, actually just Perunia and well, no, I think Lex too, just because he is. But looking at all three of you, like,
Yeah, how are we going to respond? So I look at Tisque, wondering if he will bring up the fact that he is actively in the Inquisition. And I'll not make any decisions for him. But I'll turn and say, yes, there are many in Pelicune who share your feelings, though of course not all of us go quite so far as open rebellion as some do, but the idea that there are people out there who might have helped him, I think, is a fair one and obviously a logical conclusion. And if I were you, I would be very careful whom you partner with.
I don't want anything to happen to you.
That is an unexpected sentiment, Rogelio, but appreciated nonetheless.
I'm one of your fan club presidents. I know it's weird, probably weird for you, but
Oh,
yeah,
I see.
yeah. No one really wanted me to say I've been acting weird all day because of it, but like you did all this really cool stuff, and you're the reason I got into doing anything with tinkering, and it's just I promised myself I wasn't going to cry, so I'm not going to cry. It's just you're really great, and I don't want things to come after you. So like I know that you want to know, but maybe it's better not to know, because when people know things and things happen to them, and we've had things happen from a lot of people, and it's one of those things where like
Panabon.
Can I grab Panabon?
you can
Rogelio,
Can I grab Rogelio?
It's fine. It's a lot. It's a lot. Just be careful, please. Please be careful.
Rogelio,
Like the best gnome ever. Just please be careful.
I'm really sorry.
Rogelio, I think he's a capable gnome.
Well, I mean, yeah, sure.
He
Like,
seems
giant wasps.
capable.
Giant wasps. I mean, it's not usual.
Rogelio, would you like to accompany me to the powder?
I think that's probably a good idea.
Right,
Probably a good idea.
right.
We're gonna go.
Quick trip.
You're so cool.
Okay.
Thanks for that.
Perunia drags Panabon to the powder room. Well, it's an odd thing to have a fan club. Uh, I never asked for that, he says to the others. And it seems cruel to force a stop to such activities, but I never really knew how to handle it. Still, it does underscore that there are many who it would not be responsible to ignore this, to avoid it, to turn away from it.
Nugotsa, as you say, that there are a lot of dark things at work, and how big could it spread, and how deep could this plan or plot or whatever be? The same question can be asked in reverse. Why do you care to get involved? Why do you need to know? Why ask these questions?
The world is changing, Miss Flaglight. And when there is change, it can change for the better, or it can fall apart. And the direction it goes generally depends on whether those who are willing to work together for the betterment of all win out, or if those who seek to consolidate power for themselves succeed. I have a keen interest in ensuring a world where everyone is free to pursue their happiness. I have dedicated my life to building tools to enable those very people to pursue their happiness, to reduce the strains and stresses that all of us face. The idea that someone would abuse their strength, their privilege, their position is rather unpalatable to me. And I could sit on the sidelines, but then I am simply allowing them. I may as well give my consent. No. I must actively do what I can to ensure they do not succeed.
I rolled an insight.
He does seem like he is speaking something that he believes. You don't see any reason to disbelieve him. You don't notice any like he's in this speech. It's either like if he's lying, it's something he's rehearsed a bunch of times so that he can, speak it, or it's something he believes.
Could I roll an insight as well?
Absolutely.
We're on the same page.
Yeah.
I believe you that you want to do the right thing, but what can you do? What can any of us do?
Well, that is not an easy question to answer. The answer to that is at the end of the process, indeed, whenever we create anything, we start by determining that there is a problem to resolve, and then we consider all the possibilities towards resolving it by creating and testing and trying a variety of means. But the end of the process is the resolution. I don't know yet, but I do know that I am at the beginning of this process. That I have only just discovered the problem. And it will take time to develop plans and schema. There's much more to learn about the problem. So I don't know. I don't know yet. I was hoping that perhaps you would have some information that would be helpful. But I am thankful that you were there to stop it at all.
I look again across the table at Lex and Tieske and Naka.
Etsuke kind of gives you a little shrug. Naka gives you kind of just a bit of a smile.
And I think of what Panabon and Perunia would say or do. But I've made a decision. And so under the table, I summon one of my quills. And I'm going to write with it on his hand, the back of his hand, and say, "Find me later." LF, Lampira, flag, light. And he should be able to feel that. And when he looks at it,
Yes, he does.
okay.
Like,
when he looks at it and sees it, does he make any reaction?
He does. He just kind of furrows his brow a little bit, and then he kind of, as he turns, he puts his other hand kind of at one end, and just it looks like he wipes it off, but at the same time kind of like nods.
I also have the ability to erase the message. So as soon as I see that, I erase it.
Do I see that?
If you want to make an insight check, you can.
And while this is happening, I say, I'm glad we were there too, and I'm sorry we can't be of more help.
Indeed. Just 10 is the number. We're just gonna have it be 10. 10, we're just gonna roll 10.
This episode of Like Clockwork has been brought to you by the number 10.
Yes.
We are completely average at everything we try.
So you get a sense that there was some sort of exchange, but you don't know what.
Meanwhile, in the restrooms,
Mhm.
I'm gonna go with we either went into a gender neutral option or I followed whichever one Panabon chose. I don't know how they handle that in this world. Hopefully they're more progressive than the world we currently live in, but whatever. And I was like, okay, you did great. You did great, Panabon. I think they really liked you. I think you're good. But you should probably like take it down 10 notches, but I think you did great.
Rogelio was the best you could come up with.
Okay, I'm sorry. I forgot the name that you told me yesterday that we wrote down on the ship. And yeah, that's going to be awkward because that's also on your ticket. So, like, I don't know. I have a little bit of ADHD.
How exciting for me. Okay. Well, so I I really don't want him to be a bad guy. If he's a bad guy, I'm gonna be really, really upset.
I
Like,
know.
I really hate magic so much. I don't understand why they like it so much. It's just, it
But
makes.
he's not a magic user, though.
Oh, but that's a fine line. It's like me saying, "Oh, I just take stuff and move it to different locations." Let's be realistic about it.
They say never to meet your heroes, but we don't know that he's bad. And I like whisper, check to see if nobody's like in the stalls. And presumably I would have done that when we got in there. Um, and I say, besides, we're gonna have a long time, the entire train ride, to get to know him. So maybe, maybe he'll prove to be all right after all. Oh, also remember, he doesn't know that we're going on the train. He still thinks we're on an airship. So like that'll be like surprise tomorrow.
Yeah, it'll be great. Oh, and that'll. Oh man, I wish we
What?
could push the train back another day.
Wait, why?
Well, because tomorrow's like my birthday, and like on your birthday, I'm supposed to be able to like steal something of value, and I'm really like,
Oh
it
my god.
really, it would have been a lot of fun, and now I don't get to do it.
Oh, mail fruit.
But it'll be
Ah,
fine. It'll be fine.
uh, Phew, that's big. Please don't steal anything on the train. Um,
I
Also,
really, the
happy.
train is like the best place to steal stuff from.
No, no, no. I know it is. Well, I mean, like I don't, but like, sure. Yeah, but like Lampura, would not probably enjoy that. No.
Yeah, well, there's
How
lots
about
of
I buy you
things that
something
Lapira
nice?
doesn't enjoy that we don't tell Lampira about. So, I mean, it's
I've got an
fine.
idea. I've got an idea. Okay. Okay.
Okay.
Try this on for
I'm
size.
willing to hear
You
you out.
should, you should go out and steal something now because the best time to steal something is right before you leave a city. There you
And
go.
it's not my birth. See, the problem is that one, it's not my birthday. Two, I've
At
already
midnight,
stolen
it'll be your
something.
birthday.
I've already stolen something, and they don't know I've stolen it yet. So I'm very excited for them to discover that I've done it. But they don't know what's happened yet. So it's great. It's going to be
Leave
really cool when they figure it
your
out.
garden club. Am I saying that right? Garden club?
Water Relocation Society.
Oh, okay, got it. Oh, okay. Then you already got something for your birthday. Done.
No,
Done and finished. Yeah.
that was the agreement because we helped save the world. It was like that. Also, I told
Oh,
them if we died, like they promised me they'd find our bodies so that nothing happened to our bodies. So like I had us on lock for that. So that's at least like I had us covered in the
all right.
case bad
All right.
things
All right.
happen.
All right. I'm gonna make a deal with you. Okay. How about this? How about this? What if we steal something on the train, but it needs to be right before we get off the train and not tomorrow? You know.
I mean, I just figured I was gonna steal from someone like super rich that really annoyed me. Or like move something into someone else's carriage, like rich to rich, and just like make life havoc for people with like way too much money and no common
That's
sense.
actually a great idea, and you should totally. I mean,
I,
you know what? You should seriously consider your life choices. And Shailene will be
you
upset.
mean
Anything?
Lampira, flag lights? Ooh.
Look, Pan, you know that I'm not going to tell you not to do it. Just like when it comes out and she finds out, like, don't tell her that like I knew about it. Okay, like, be cool.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah,
Okay.
there's many things that Lampira doesn't need to know. That's just how kind of we operated before I met you again. Like I stole stuff so that we survived, and Lampira was like, "We're doing great," and didn't question any of it. And it was
That
a
seems right.
flawed system, but it was a system that worked.
Yeah, well, the her trusting is also why right now we might to our new friend, so we should get back out there. So
Yes,
let's
I should probably we should eat some of this stew that is apparently the best stew in the city.
yes, let us
Like,
go and
yeah,
fill our bellies,
good.
and we're gonna focus on that
Better than train
and
food. Better than train food, I
enjoy
think.
it before the train. Okay,
Pretty
and
sure.
we look in the mirror, sure we're good, and yeah.
And I feel
I touch up my fake mustache a little bit that I totally didn't put on because it was the height of fashion like 4 years ago in Balagoon.
I feel way less guilty about deciding to tell him stuff without telling you guys. Thank you for that.
You're welcome.
All right. So with that, given our time,
Yeah.
the
By the way, when I go to shake Sanatu's hand as we're leaving, I slip Sanatu a note telling them that I will tell them the truth. Find me on the train, and I sign it Panabon.
Oh,
The
All right.
intrigue.
So the meal is amazing if you are into complex savory foods. If
Mhm.
you are not into complex savory foods, it is overwhelming or not to your taste. But
I make
for
notes
those,
that I can send to Aegis later, just like about the meal. Like I see if they can give me like a complimentary menu I can send to Aegis just to like rub a little salt in the wound.
they are happy to provide you with a copy with one of their menus, one of their very finely wrought menus. Yes. And after that, the conversation does become a lot, uh, a lot less heavy, and they talk about. Dugatsa talks a little bit about working for various companies to improve upon engines uh, and some of the advances in like prosthetics and those sorts of things. And everyone kind of is able to share a little bit about what they've got going on if they wanted to, and it's an enjoyable meal once the sort of pall of this, do we trust, do we not trust, what's going on, we don't know, but then food and everybody eats and it's great. As you make your way from the restaurant, Tieske and Naka say their final goodbyes. Naka does give an indication that her intention is to travel south, and that Tieske says that he anticipates leaving within a few days back to Palakun, letting everybody know.
I give them both hugs around their legs.
Well, the TSK will be awkward about it. Naka actually will come down to your level to return the hug.
Aww.
And having met afterwards, take some time to talk to Lex about who, if anyone, Lex might want him to contact and let know that Lex is doing fine and is traveling with others.
I will I'll ask him to check in with the other.
voices.
I'm gonna tell him that I'm fine for now.
And with that, they take off. Panavon, were you intending to seek out the local guild members or guild chapter here?
Yes, I'm intending to do that. I frame it as letting Peruni know that I have an errand to run and that I will be back. And I promise that I'm not going to make any trouble. Those are the exact words that I use, in the exact tone and cadence. I promise I am not going to make trouble.
Do you want an escort?
No, this is this is a one-on-one thing.
Okay.
Okay. So the rest of you head back to the lodge as Panabon dips into the darkness, eventually making their way to, well, what particular place would you like to meet? Seek them.
Sorry, I had to take my tie off.
Yeah. So are you
Right,
heading
okay.
to the tavern that you had spoke to them before?
Yes, I am heading. I am heading to the tavern, um, and
Okay.
I'm going to have the strongest gnome whiskey they have. I'm going to have a shot of that, or
All right.
whatever the equivalent of, like, I don't know if gnomes are like bourbon or whiskey folk or whatnot, but whatever that is, I'm gonna have a shot of that.
Sounds good. There, as you enter in and sit at the bar, take this shot. A lot of people kind of give you a nod of recognition as you enter. You see the very large man seated at a table with a few other individuals. They're chatting about presumably work of some sort.
Something
But
about
after a
water
while,
relocation. Lots of water needs to relocate. It's the
yes.
whole thing of the city.
But after a while, he dismisses them. That's the best way to say it. Like he basically is like, "Okay, I'm done with you guys. Come on, get on here." And as they get up, he catches your eye, and then just kind of indicates you should take a seat with him.
And I take that seat, not making a show out of stealth, but just generally I am light on my feet. And so, like, one moment I'm at the bar, and the next moment I'm in the seat. Or in 2 moments, however long a moment is for stealthy people.
That was quite a stir, but effective. I presume you've had a busy week since then.
I have had a busy week, and it's been an honor to enjoy both the beautiful and the underbelly of the city. Um, and it was quite a. I had a fantastic dinner tonight at the Bone and Spice, I think it was.
Hmm.
A lot of fun. Yes,
That, for many, is a once in a lifetime experience. For
it's
many
true.
more, they'll never experience such a thing. I must say, I am pleased to note that the Inquisition is no longer operating here in such numbers. That was really annoying. And
Imagine that in Balakune. They're
mm,
everywhere.
yes, I presume that you had more reason to stop in than simply goodbyes.
No. My companions tend to be more honest than I enjoy, so it's nice just to be with the people that understand about not using all of your words to say things.
Mm.
But yes, there is. I would like to offer you a trade of information for some information that you might possess. And to let you know also, because it is my duty and honor bound, um, as a member of certain professions, to let you know of my movement leaving the fair city. So I just want to make sure I do right by the. I know some of the newer generation doesn't. They don't think it's necessary, but it's an old custom to me, and it's very important.
Well, appreciated. What do you need to know?
I'm going via train. I'm going north near the mountains, and I'd like to know about any highwaymen groups, if that's what you call them here, that will be either making hassle on the train or um, posing as passengers on said train, as sometimes happens in the north.
The trade line is relatively new. The bandits in the Badlands north of Gilaluti haven't figured out how to take the train, which is well guarded in any case. I don't think you have anything to worry about from that sense. As for other organizations that may operate directly on the train, none from our organization. Such a thing as it's hard to keep tabs on where everything is supposed to go. And there are generally others who pay too much attention to the trains, whether from an enforcement point of view or those who have their own individual designs. I do have some knowledge that the next train out, one leaves, well, oops, just the one, weekly. It comes in and then leaves. That there are some august personages aboard that are traveling with some interesting cargo. So be mindful of that. That may raise attention, unwanted attention. But I can't say that I know of anything definitely planned.
I appreciate that. In an oasis step, there were stone beings that came to life. So I'm also willing to bet just something will happen on the way where I'm going. Oh, it's not fun. If stone things start to come to life, just run the opposite direction. It's not worth the hassle.
I'll take your advice into consideration.
So in honoring your wisdom and information that I have on my own in the area, I'm sure you perhaps already know this, but it's good for you to be abreast of what I've seen. I know this is a very robust city, and this is sort of the center of the country, but there are groups of water relocation specialists in smaller towns that have decided they know better than the old ways. And so if you begin to see anyone with markings where there are too many stripes for the snakes in the garden, you may want to be aware that they have dual loyalties that may not be advantageous to you.
Yes. Speaking of such, I actually have something to show you. You see, I am appreciative of the work that you've done and felt it important to repay you in kind. Come with me. And he stands and maneuvers around the table and pushes the curtain back to go into the kitchen uh, and holds it open for you to pass with him.
Of course.
You enter in the kitchen. He takes you down around to some stairs that go down to a door. It's got iron bars, like a little iron barred window that is covered on the other side. He raps twice. That moves. Someone appears out, sees him, closes. They open the door, and you step into a basement room. The iron tang of blood lays heavy in the air. There is a single chair within the room in the center, and strapped to it is a corpse. He walks up to this corpse and he pulls the shirt down over the shoulder, revealing two symbols etched in next to each other, the lightning bolts. This is the individual who accosted you on, I believe, your first night in the city.
Oh, yes, the one that thought I was someone else. But it was fine.
With 2 bolts, they are going to send a third. They are also quite resistant to interrogation. But something that this one let slip. I don't know that they thought this was pertinent information, but given what I have heard from you and what your presumptions are, when talking about their target, they did not say the gnome. They said the gnomes. I don't think that they're after your one friend.
Well, on the bright side, 2 hands and a regular tongue. So that is a bright side to look at. Because the last time someone said something after us, no hands and a long tongue, and it wasn't great. If you ever see that, also, just run in the opposite direction. It's not worth it.
Again, I will take your advice into consideration.
Yes.
In any case, do be mindful. Back upstairs. This is unpleasant. And he exits his large frame, barely passing through the door and up the stairs. Of course, you are welcome back to the city. If you are staying, I would insist that you join us fully, but
No,
I
I must
appreciate you
go.
have things to do and places to go.
Yes, I would trust me. I'd much rather stay. I've enjoyed my time. Well, I've enjoyed some of my time here. When I almost died was not one of those times. I've also had the joy, um, in my time here in my recreation. I've used some of my skill with card work, and I caught the attention of a few orphan children on the street. And there are 2 I think you might enjoy taking an interest in that showed some aptitude for charisma and sleight of hand.
Well, if you take note of them before you leave, um, you can point them out.
Yeah.
As you know, we have eyes in the streets.
I assumed I was being watched, but I wanted to let you know I did that with intention for you as a gift, because it's important for the new generation to learn the old ways, and you have to do that while they're young, or they get very uppity and they think they know more than they do.
That has been my experience. Well,
Also, by the way, when you noticed what happened, you're welcome, and also I'm very sorry at the same time.
ominous. Farewell. It has been
Farewell.
interesting to watch you at work. You and your friends.
Thank you. May we meet again on better terms and without so much evil in the world. Unless we're causing evil.
Hmm. Indeed. And as you leave, he takes his seat at the table, and like immediately, there's folks who are just like move in to take his attention. He gives kind of an eye roll your way, and then turns to business.
And I leave the names of the 2 children, Asultres and Jamie, with the bartender. so that they at least have the names.
Okay. With that, you head back to the lodge for what is going to be your last night in the city. The tickets are in hand. The train leaves just before noon the next day.
And is this the train to take us up to the train, or we have to be to the depot to catch the train up to the top to get to the train that's going to take us?
Train of the train to take the train. Yeah, there's basically like you can either go to the train directly itself and make your own journey there, which is not super duper far, but it's not convenient. Or there is basically a gondola that will take you from the air docks. So, and that would be about an hour before you would normally get to where the train is. So, but yeah, you get back. It is rather late. If most of the orcs in the lodge have gone to bed, there's not really any activity inside unless one of the others are up and waiting for you.
Rooney would have stayed up and just made sure that rescue Panamon or something. And also, she says as they come in, we should sell those camels. I kind of forgot about that. Anyway, that's tomorrow's problem.
There's going to be another tomorrow problem. You know when we had the assassins that came after us, and we
Yeah.
thought they were coming after me because they thought I was Zivid?
Okay, nobody thought that but you, but sure.
Okay, well, so apparently that's not the last we're going to see of them, as I understand it. Just to let you know, don't know when, don't know where, don't know how. Hopefully not on the train. It seems like the train's going to be smooth sailing. That's my hope. But
Well,
just to let you know, that's yeah. But
uh,
bonus, they did have regular tongues and hands. So like as far as assassins
today,
go, had
today. What, did you see one tonight? Did you get attacked? Are you okay? I look them
one.
over
I
for
didn't.
wounds.
I didn't get attacked. It was a gift from people that wish us no ill will,
What do you mean a
making
gift?
sure
What,
making sure that I had
you
information.
got attacked by an assassin and it's a gift? What are you saying, Panama?
I didn't get attacked. It was it's hard to explain without
It's
breaking some rules. Just
okay.
everything is fine. It's just information that was a gift to us that now I'm passing on freely to be a little more aware of the surroundings that we've got.
Hey, like that's not freely because I don't know what you mean, but as long as you're okay,
Yeah,
fine. Hopefully, the other assassin will be distracted by us planting the information about the airship. If not, we need to be pretty careful tomorrow morning.
we're not actually going on an airship. I'm
You're
teasing. I'm teasing.
hilarious.
I know we're
You're
not going on an
hilarious.
airship.
It's
I know.
great.
I know.
It's great.
I'm delight. I'm a delight and a joy. Also, at breakfast, take a couple of the extra apples with us because if they only have those rations on the train and we're going to be like eating salt like no tomorrow, so grab a couple of pieces of fresh fruit.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Let's go to bed, Panama.
Yeah,
And
that's
with
good.
that, you head to bed. Uh, Falling asleep, not paying mind to Shayloon, who is laying turned away from everyone else, but with her eyes open as she anticipates having a meeting with the mosquito, apparently.
Yeah, it's back.
Um, a meeting, but we are getting on in time, so we are going to belay that meeting for our next session.
Or maybe, Danny, we could meet this week.
Or we can meet this week if you want to do that and do a little additive session with Shayloon and Nugatsa. That said, thank you everyone for joining us. Everyone who stuck it out, and thanks to Thomas for stepping in and handling our tech um, like a boss. And of course, thank you to the lovely players for just providing me no end of entertainment. I love you all very much. And we will see everybody again next week. Like Clockwork.
Good
Bye.
night, America.
Bye.
In Canada.
Yeah.